All right, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. All three districts are present. Notice of the meeting was properly posted on February the 9th, 2026. Agenda item number 1, approval of minutes.
Motion approved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Number 2, Dane. Do we have Dane to discuss the Oklahoma County MIS Department quarterly telework exception request?
New quarter.
I knew you were going to say that.
I bet you did. Shocking, huh?
Right. This is
here to
routine. Do
entertain.
we have any further discussion?
Move for approval.
All right, I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dane. All right, agenda item number 3, presentation from the Oklahoma City Economic Development Foundation, and we have Dennis Pruitt here.
Good morning. It's nice to be here. Thank you very much for your time. I'm excited to be here. I'm with the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce. We represent Oklahoma County, but also the 10-county region that goes up to Stillwater and down to Norman. And so we're just excited about the opportunities and the action and activity that we're seeing at the project level. And so we've had some big hits. I just want to acknowledge that up front. We were really disappointed to read about Devon and Expand. Those are things that we're taking very seriously. It's eaten up. I mean, we spent a lot of time working on what we need to be doing next on that. But it reinforces our strategy that we have in place. And so it's not all doom and gloom. I just want you to say that these things, bad things happen. We're disappointed, trying to keep building on that, what we have already. So just wanted to acknowledge that up front. And I'll keep this very short. There's a lot of words here. I just want to draw your attention to a few things. And that first one is business retention and expansion. I put that number 1. Since I came here 10 months ago, I've talked to our team. We are really focused on helping our existing companies. And that's why it hurt so much when Devon and Expand announced their headquarter relocation. We have a very active business retention and expansion program. I'll get into that in a few minutes. We're adding another person the 1st of March to supplement that. But these are the core functions. And for our contract with the county, we're focused on aerospace and defense technologies. And so I'll spend the bulk of my time there. But I do want you to know some of the special initiatives that we have going on here. How do we prepare communities win? And so how do we identify the right sites, the right buildings for when these prospects come and to help our existing companies expand? We're working to attract equine and cattle associations, manufacturing, animal health companies to build on the strong equine and cattle industry that we have here in Oklahoma County and the region. We are forming these manufacturing councils to make sure that our existing companies are aware of the assets and supply chain that's here in the region and how to strengthen that, and also looking at ways to increase our investment from overseas, but also help our existing companies strengthen their position by exporting. Our project pipeline is very strong. We have 121 projects in the pipeline right now. You'll see that the bulk of those are manufacturing. We are focused on primary job creation, that is manufacturing and distribution. And so we are really looking at ways, because manufacturing has the best spillover effect in the economy. It helps the supply chain. So we're really focused on basic, fundamental industry jobs. And then we'll get into aviation here in just a few moments. Huge impact. If these all come together, we're looking at almost $33 billion in capital investment and an impact of 47,000 jobs. Now that's if all of them come together, and they won't. If we're lucky to get 15 to 20% of those, that's our goal. As we look at 25, the year that just wrapped up, the calendar year, we helped with companies here in the area, and I'll get into that, but they had almost $180 million expansion, 2,800 new jobs. And this is local expansion. I want to make sure that this point is really understood by our team and others in the community, that we want to focus on our existing companies first, make sure that they are expanding and happy. And that's job number 1 for us. What does that mean? It impacts us $22 million in new additional local taxes that came out of these expansions. Here are some of the recent ones from 23 to 25, companies that we have helped. You'll see some of those are a good mixture of aerospace companies, but also distribution and equine related in cattle that we talked about earlier. I'm not going to read all these, but the companies that are bolded are aerospace related. So these are new to market companies over the last 5 years that we've had a role in. I just want to highlight My Defense, which is a Danish company that will be opening up here in downtown Oklahoma City. Drone related national security. It's a big sector for us. Here are some more expansions. And then these are companies that we've assisted. Again, I'm not going to read these, but the bolded ones, you can see how many of these are aerospace related. And you can look at these at your leisure. This is what we're seeing. Why is this so important for us? Obviously, the Tinker Air Force Base, Mike Mulroney, but so many major companies, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Pratt & Whitney. We had the AAR hangar expansion just a couple of weeks ago, major company. And so really exciting what we're seeing in the aerospace sector. Here are ways that we engaged with Tinker, Mike Mulroney over the last year, some of the events that we attended. I want to focus a lot on this next slide, trends that we're seeing. So defense related, that's been a shift from civil to defense. We see a lot of ongoing maintenance, repair, and overhaul operations, advanced manufacturing, whether that's additive or new composites. International connections. We had a Spanish company here last week. We had the Danish company. We've had the French consulate here. We've had Quebec come down. So all of these are looking at the Oklahoma City region. Again, we're drawn by that supply chain with Boeing, Pratt & Whitney, Northrop Grumman. The ability to supply here locally is really important. And then the eVTOLs, the vertical takeoff and landing, the vertiport, increased need for hangar space. And we're seeing stuff out with Burns Flat with the space related, where their companies are flying out to launch satellites for experiments. There's just a lot going on in space. We see that activity keep continuing. We had Dawn Aerospace from New Zealand come in here to locate, again, another international aerospace related. Here's what we're going to do in 26, and this is where I want to spend the bulk of my time. We need to spend as much time as possible at Tinker and Mike Mulroney. Those are the two key assets that we need to protect. We are working, again, back to that business retention, helping our existing companies. We're spending as much time with that aerospace cluster, talking to them, listening to them. What are their needs? How can we help them? How can we increase that supply chain? How do we make sure that it's very sticky here in Oklahoma for them as an aerospace cluster? We're doing a lot more with the veterans. I thought we had a really strong veteran ranking. I've heard from a couple of generals that no, we need to do more. So this is a priority for us in 26. We're looking at just a project next week of how can we help with workforce training with veterans, and how can we do that better than what we thought we were doing. How can we continue to increase our collaboration with Will Rogers, with all the groups that are associated with aerospace? We really firmly believe that the Chamber is part of an ecosystem. We're one of many. We take a team approach. We partner with the county, we partner with the Alliance, we partner with the city, we partner with our 10 counties, we partner with our companies. We want to make sure that we're not trying to be lone wolves. We want to be here together working with everyone hand in hand. We're successful when we work together. No egos on our team. We're looking for new sites, but also sites that have power. We're trying to do more on the political front. We have our fly-in April. We are working with the Trump administration. We're working with our congressional delegation. A lot of activity. If we're moving into defense, we need to make sure that we have a strong offense in D.C. Again, how do we continue to work with companies on recruitment and building up that international connections? We have a group from Germany coming in next week. We have a group from Taiwan the end of March. So these are all things that we're trying to do to strengthen those international connections. And then finally, workforce training, and then revitalizing the Meridian Corridor at that entry point from Will Rogers into downtown. So important. So anyway, that's a nutshell what we have on our list to do. There's a lot of work. We appreciate our partnership with the county. Thank you very much for your support. Any advice that you have for us, any concerns, please share it with me. I gave my business card to a couple of you. If you don't have my contact information, let me know, and I'll happy to meet with you one-on-one or come back at another time. So.
Well,
Thank you, Dennis.
I'm interested to know what your plans are in the future with regard to veterans. That's something that's very important to me.
So it's early to tell, but it's a concept that I learned about a couple of weeks ago. I was nearby the courthouse. Okay, let me put it that way. There's some vacant land that's nearby. There's a school that's for sale. How can we purchase that? How can we convert that into housing? How can we convert it into training programs? There's some land around it to be developed. So looking at ways to provide a cluster for the veterans. Now this is going to be very expensive. This developer's pitched $76 million for what he needs. We're trying to pull together the funding to help him. It's a preliminary stage, but we need to do more for our veterans. And so whether that's housing, whether that's workforce training, whether that's employment opportunities, how do we promote that transition from from retiring from the military into active civilian duty? That's something that I thought we were doing well, but I've been told we need to do better. And so that's what we're going to try to do better in 26. But a combination of those three things: housing, training, and employment.
Okay. And then I know how important the aerospace industry is, but when you're also looking at manufacturing, what types of companies is the chamber really trying to attract from that space?
Well, we don't preclude anyone, but we have to target some people, right? So we have opportunities that are coming in on plastics. We have food and beverage is something that we are adding to our list that we haven't had. We haven't proactively pursued food and beverage operations. So we think that's an opportunity for us given our location, proximity to Texas, rail access. We're doing more with BNSF and Union Pacific on how we can expand, use rail controlled sites for cold storage, for example, is one idea that we're pursuing. And that's very important in the food industry. We're looking at what I said, plastics already. Biosciences is a sector that's always been important to the Chamber of Commerce. And so that goes into animal health, which goes back into that Western strategy I mentioned with equine and cattle health, where it would be proving the genetics for if you have when you're selling a horse, you make sure that it's healthy and has the right genes. I've learned this is an important issue. So we're trying to combine our current initiatives with our new initiatives. And there's in the past, manufacturing was standalone. You had workforce over here, you had biosciences. They're all bleeding together. Like, for example, ag tech, the precision agriculture with the defense industry and how you're using satellites to guide combines and tractors. I mean, there's just a lot of bleed over in the technologies. And so it's difficult to say we're going after one because they interact with each other. But I would just say packaging is something that we're looking at. So there's a couple of trade shows that we're looking at. Pack Expo. IFT is a food show that we're going to be attending. We're continuing. And then food and beverage I mentioned, and basic manufacturing. I think that sums it up, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
For 2025, how many companies have you all worked with to get them to come into Oklahoma County? I see you use 20
Let me see.
through
Hold on. Let me pull my chart.
25, but in 25, the contract year, how many companies?
Just a second, sir. Let me pull up the number we had as wins in Oklahoma County. There were 1, 2, 3, 4. It's this. Let me go back to this slide. This one, I'm sorry, you're right. I see what you're saying. That's 20 to 25. It's included in there. So Hobby Lobby had an expansion. Lock Supply had their new building. AAR had their new trailer. We're working with Delaware Resource Groups on an expansion. I think that one's still in the works. Pratt & Whitney had a new facility. And Simple Modern had an expansion. Nortec had an expansion. I can get that down. I see what you're saying because I thought it was 25. I thought we had a separate slide for just that 25. But there were I can tell you the number of give me a second here, just a second. I have another presentation tomorrow, so this is helpful. So we had 33 site visits last year. 17 of those were aerospace related. Our project activity, we had a low of 23 of 81 projects. In 25, we had a high of 101. So the project activity is up. The manufacturing sector is up 60% over the previous 4 years. We're seeing a weakening in automotive. Biotechnology is up. But the number of wins, I don't have that list here. I'm sorry.
And Devin leaving, Expand leaving. What activities did you all do to try to keep those companies here within Oklahoma County? Of course, Devin has that huge skyscraper here in Oklahoma County. So You know, a lot of people want to know what's going to happen to that skyscraper. Then a lot of people want to know what's going to happen to Expand's campus here in Oklahoma County. So, what are y'all doing in regards to the skyscraper and Expand's campus, or what are y'all doing to try to get more energy companies here within Oklahoma County?
Okay, so Devin has been on our executive committee for a long, long time, and we've had a deep relationship with Devin forever. New CEO, new change in perception on how that happened. So I would say that we had probably the deepest relationship we could have had with Devin from the highest level for a long, long, long time. And so we were disappointed about that decision to move. We know that they have more information than we do, but we just wish they would have stayed, and we hope we have a significant level of employees remaining here. We wish them the best, but we also are concerned about the employees that may lose their job in the redundancy in the merger. There's always that option. We're very concerned about maintaining that significant presence here in Oklahoma City. So what have we done since then? We have contacted both their HR departments to find out what's actually in the mix, because ways to promote the building. We don't have that information yet. We hope that a significant presence remains for both companies. We really want to work with them to keep their existing employment as high as possible. We are looking at supply chain of other companies that aren't really on the the publicly traded companies, but we have a substantial number of small to medium enterprises that are engaged in the oil and gas industry. We're really we're tracking the number of business retention expansion calls we've made. And let me just give you an example. Technogenia, it's a French company out there on the west side of town. We visited them twice on a potential expansion. We're looking to them and make sure that they provide special coating for the drill bits. And so there's a small niche industry here in Oklahoma City. Devin and Expand has gotten a lot of the press, but it's like the iceberg, right? You see the tip, but below it are all of these small and medium enterprises. We're really trying to figure out what's going on with them. And we have had an active visitation schedule with them. We're bumping that up. We're looking at ways, we're looking at different markets that might also have an opportunity to relocate some of their corporate expansions. While we're looking at the manufacturing side, but also the corporate side. So Denver is an example of Colorado has become a state that's unfriendly to a lot of industries, whether it's cattle, whether it's food production, whether it's manufacturing, and oil and gas. So that environment has changed over the last 10 years. And so we're looking at, okay, are there corporate oil and gas companies in Denver that we could relocate to Oklahoma City? But number one, protecting the existing employees at Devin and Expand to make sure that they are taken care of, treated fairly, and have an opportunity to remain here in Oklahoma City. Number two, working with the small and medium enterprises that really drive oil and gas in Oklahoma County, making sure that they're happy. And then number three, after all of that, looking at ways to attract other oil and gas corporations to Oklahoma County.
All right, and my final question / comments is this. Too many times the chamber points Oklahoma County as the bad guy for its government. I just want to point out that the chamber has a contract with Oklahoma County to promote economic development. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to respond to that. I never think of the county as the bad guy. I think we all need to work together, and however we can do that. Every relationship. I mean, I've been married for 35 years. We have ups and downs. We want to make sure that communication stays open. I can come over anytime and talk to you about projects that we have. It's not always appropriate to talk in a public setting like this, but anything private, I would love to talk to you about. And if I can do my part, sir, to help that relationship, I'd be happy to do so.
And I just hope that you all, as you all go out and promote this area, that the different businesses and corporations understand that Oklahoma County is doing its part to help the chamber to promote what you all are doing.
Yeah, and I appreciate the relationship with the county. we want to strengthen this relationship. We see it as critical to our success, and we hope to contribute to your success.
One more question then.
Yes, sir.
Going back to Devon and Expand, as far
Yes.
as those companies go, are you partnering with both of those to help those employees from those companies that may be affected by either of these moves and helping them to find other jobs or?
Yeah, and sorry if I wasn't clear on that. Our number one concern are those existing employees, making sure that they're taken care of. We have in the past, now it's premature because one, we don't know, we've offered our services to the HR departments at those companies. Okay, so that took place already. We have good relationships with both companies at the executive level as well as the HR department. And so making sure that they're aware that we're here to help them. We want them to be successful, but we also want to make sure that their employees are taken care of here. That's what's important to us. And so that's number one. What we have done in the past, we have done job fairs. We have sat down with the HR individually with smaller groups to talk to the employees who want to talk. You know, not everybody wants to go to a job fair, but they want to have one-on-one conversations where in privacy. So we would offer that same level of service, but there are many ways we can do it. But in this case, it's a little complicated in a good way, right? Because we're not shutting down everything and we don't know we're trying to calculate or we're trying to determine the occupation codes that have been impacted by either the move or the merger. And so those are the ones, once we get that list, then we can use that as a way to attract companies from Denver or another market that might be prone to relocate here. But so we can use that as a tool to attract, but we want to make sure that they're placed here locally. And whether that's through job service, we will work with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. We'll work with other associations and make sure that these people are taken care of. But you know, the good thing is that this is all getting a lot of press locally. So people we hope Continental expands. We hope some of the other people here locally that have 5 or 6 people can expand and grow. So it all is about making sure that the environment is right for job creation and retaining who we have as much as we possibly can. Did I answer your question,
Yes,
sir?
you did.
Okay.
A lot to discover in the next few months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to say we're devastated. We're sad about this, and our hearts go out to the people that may lose their jobs. That's our biggest concern.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other discussion? Thank you, Dennis, for your time and your presentation. We certainly appreciate the partnership and the economic impact you've made in Oklahoma County.
Oh, well, thank you. And we look forward to working with you this year and many years to come.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to receive report?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 4, discussion and possible action regarding approval for Oklahoma County to apply for the 2026 opioid abatement grant with the intention of services provided by Creoaks Health Services related to the Behavioral Care Center.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it is that time again. It's time to apply for the 2026 opioid abatement grant, and we were awarded for 2024 and 2025, and so we're wanting to apply again this year. This year we would like to partner with Creoaks in order to be able to provide opioid abatement services for our behavioral care. So I brought Chris Flanagan here in order to be here. If you have any questions, we're looking at different possibilities based off of the criteria for the grant, but just wanted to ask this committee for permission to move forward in the application process.
Perfect. Do we have any discussion?
No.
All right. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve the application.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Chris. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. And I'll just let you know in regards to the time frame, the application opened up on February 1st. I'll put it across BOCC on the 18th for BOCC approval to move forward. We will work on this, put together the opioid abatement cover letter to go across BOCC on March 2nd, and then we will work on the application, and then the deadline is March 31st.
Great. Thank you for your work
Thanks,
on
Jessica.
this.
Thank you.
All right, number 5, discussion and possible action regarding Oklahoma County's ARPA. We have Accenture here. Hello, Danielle.
Today, we are just going to be looking at kind of the funding overview. When we were here last month, we reminded you guys that we were in the process of going through the Q4 reporting that we get from our subrecipients. And so this update will include all of the information as of today for the Oklahoma County internal projects, and then all of the Q4 data for the subrecipients. And that's really all we're going to look at today. So as you can see overall, the authorized obligated number never changes. So you met that in 2024. Your liquidated number, and so again, as a reminder, this is the funds out of the county bank account. We will talk about the expended number in a moment. So liquidated is almost 75% of your total funds, with meaning your remaining is about 25%. This is obviously an increase and decrease from the last time we were here by almost by almost 4.3. And so you can see, you spent that much, and so what came out of your bank account went up, and then what was remaining went down. Pretty straightforward. Wanted to talk about what the remaining funds really look like. So of the total remaining funds, there's only 25% of your total ARPA allocation remaining to come out of the county bank account. 92% of that 25 is for internal county projects. So the bulk of the funds that still need to be spent are coming from inside the county. 90% of that 92% is for 4 of your projects. So it's going to be your elevators and then your behavioral care center. So not really a surprise to anybody there, but that is how the numbers are breaking down. So that shows you then for our departments, there's only about 10% that is still needing to be spent. Most of that is all going to be in these large capital expenditures that we know will be ongoing throughout the rest of this year. So then when you are looking at your subrecipients, they've been doing a good job of spending. So of the 25% of total SLFRF allocation remaining, they only have that 8% because the county is maintaining the rest of it. So that's 2.8 that needs to be spent by or come out of the county bank account. For this, you can see that 49% of that allocation is for that return we just had of that 1.5. So these are the dollars that are getting reallocated right now by your offices. So they aren't even out the door yet, so there's no way that they could have spent them. So that does maybe look a little disproportionate, but that is because we are in the process of getting those out the door. So about 51% of your remaining projects then that need to be spent are not related to that 1.5, but that is taking up nearly half of where these funds are at. So now if we are looking at the expenditure side of things, so we talked about liquidation. So like I said, that's the dollars that came out of the county bank account. The expenditure amount is the numbers we get from the subrecipients for their quarterly reporting. So if someone was so low risk, you may have already given them their funds up front. That doesn't mean they spent them all right away. They are spending them as they go down and have until the end of this year to do so. So what you're seeing here, of course, your obligated doesn't change. That had to do with your contracts, so that remains the same. The difference in your liquidated and expended numbers is $9 million. And so just wanted to make you aware too of that difference. So you do have that remaining amount that will come from the expended. And so that's why you might see a little bit of a discrepancy in something and say, why is that much still remaining? But it's because that is the actual liquidated versus expended amount. And we have a quick breakdown of that if anyone is curious. So of course, at the county level, y'all have had a almost $84 million liquidation, and the community's done 32, which gives you that 115 total. Your expended remains the same for the county because that is your bank account. So liquidated and expended for the county internal projects always remains the same. But your difference is in that community project, and you can see where it is at that almost 10,000, so hitting that 9 number. So that 32 that it was liquidated out of the county bank account, 22 is what's expended, and so you break that math down is where you're getting that 9.4. When we are looking at your project as a whole, they're still going really well. Even though we are seeing a little bit of funding, needing to still get out that door, projects are going really, really well. You have your county projects, and as you can see here, 28 of the county projects are 100% completed. Those projects are done, and there are no more expenditures on those. You have 11 that are spent at more than 50%, so those are going really well as well. And then you have 5 that are at less than 50%. Again, these are going to include those big capital projects, the 4 elevators and your BCC. And then we have 1 project that just hasn't drawn down for billing yet. We know they've been doing the work. It's record retention. They just haven't submitted an invoice yet. For your community projects, you have 33 of your total community projects that have been expended at 100%. You have 26 that have spent at more than 50%. And then you have 14 at less, and only 3 that haven't started their projects. And for those 3 individual projects that are still trying to get off the ground, your office is aware if they are one of your subrecipients. For the PBA, you have a split right down the middle. You have 3 of your projects that are completed at more than 50%, and you have 3 of your projects that are completed at less than 50%, but they're definitely on track. And then the detention center projects, those were closed out very, very early on. Those are some of the first ones. They were reimbursements. The only one that is ongoing is the network infrastructure project, and they pull down at the same amount every month for that. So not expecting any concerns. I know I went through that super, super fast, and it was a lot of numbers. Does anybody have questions about project completion, about the difference in the liquidation, the expenditures, or just generally? Okay, then we'll look at going ahead. As always, we just want to make sure everybody can see that overarching timeline of where we're at on things. So we had slowed down on doing our site visits, of course, for January and this month as we were waiting for everyone to make funding decisions. So we'll pick site visits back up in March so that we can make sure all of the subrecipients that still have funds stay on track. We will, of course, start doing prep for our quarterly compliance webinar as well. That will be held in March because all of this goes very quickly, and they will have to, your subrecipients will have to start submitting again soon for the Q1 of this year. So this is just a general overview of kind of where we see the rest of this year going. And then I just like this one for the shock factor of how close we are getting on things. So I know we've talked a little bit internally about some of these deadlines. So really pushing to have any internal decisions for funds that will go out the door prepared and ready by the end of April so that all agreements can be ready by the end of June, and we're not making any new ones when we start in July. And then July forward, those things will remain for your internal county projects. So we only have 50 days until April 1st, and we only have 141 until July 1st, and hard to believe only 294 until December 1st. So just wanted to make sure everybody stays up to date on that. And this is nothing new. Like I said, we'll go ahead and already start prepping again for the next quarterly report and making sure the subrecipients are up to date on their information. That's all I have. Any questions on timeline or reporting?
Any discussion? Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As always, we appreciate your work on that.
Appreciate y'all.
Do we have a motion?
Motion received.
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Number 6, discussion and possible action regarding the Cree Oaks operations budget and professional services agreement for the Behavioral Care Center.
Hello again. Again, I have Chris Lane again with Cree Oaks here with us, and I attached the professional service contract that we would ask for approval of. That will go across the Board of County Commissioners meeting tomorrow. This contract is a service agreement in kind to provide a scope of work to include consultation regarding operations, research for certifications, application for the Department of Mental Health, selection of behavioral care FF&E, and then scheduled reoccurring meetings, and of course the work that we will be doing over the next month regarding the Cree Oaks operational budget. This contract will go from the time that it's signed tomorrow until June 30th of 2026.
So essentially, it's just in-kind services, and this contract runs through the end of this fiscal year.
That is correct.
Okay. We have any discussion? All right. Do we have a motion?
Motion to recommend approval for the contract.
And second.
And then we have further discussion regarding the next operation contract. So since we have,
Can we go ahead and
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't catch y'all. Vote.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Just wanted to
Got
finish
ahead of
up the vote.
myself. So we do have some questions in regards to preparing for the next operational contract that will be for the full year of FY27 as we prepare for our estimate of needs as well as that contract. We did have some questions. The questions that I have, and I'm sure Chris has some other questions, is regarding utilities, our phones, those type of services. What I'd like to know from you today is if it's better for the county to go ahead and put the utilities in our name for the Board of County Commissioners, or if we want to go ahead and get the ability and utilities, phones, things like that, have MIS involved in setting those up, or if you want to allow for Creoaks to add that to the operational budget moving forward.
Sure.
I'm of
Discussion?
the opinion for the county,
Mhm.
for that to be in the county's name, only in case down the road, Creoaks is not the operator of the BCC any longer.
Mhm.
I have to agree with Paul on that.
Yes, absolutely. We all concur.
Okay, and then before Chris opens up for any other questions that he has in regards to operational budget, is there any other things, operational expenses that you can think of that we would also need to consider? There's facilities, management, and I think he may speak to that. Anything like, grounds management. I know at one time we had our facilities department director, had a presence at the detention center, and then I think at a later time they decided just to hire that within.
Mhm.
So I didn't know if you had a preference.
I think we can always make that determination as time goes along.
And Chris may have
Yeah, I just
a
wanted to
comment on
say
that.
that from our standpoint, we're happy to work with the county on whatever is in the interest of the county. So if it's less expensive for us to do something and it's in your advantage for us to do it, we'll do it. If you feel you need to do it, we're fine with that. But just again, a few other things: insurance for the building, liability insurance. There's some other things: the mechanical closets, electrical closet. I know I'm bombarding you with all these details, but those are sorts of things that we just want to know if we're budgeting for that or if the county is going to be
Well,
addressing.
perhaps we can draw up a list of bullet points and then have that discussion with the districts individually, and then we can come back together. Sure.
I shared some examples of examples of what our budgeting looks like in regards to our estimate of needs. So maybe we could go ahead and put that together and then meet in order to discuss what would possibly be our responsibility versus yours. And so once you have your operations budget pretty much nailed down, then we can review it and then bring it to
Break it down
to
and
the
have those
committee.
discussions.
Or just talk about it in DET.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
I think Dane has a question.
So, just so I'm clear,
Mhm.
am I going after phones and internet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dane.
What about the hardware behind it?
Yes.
So we will manage all of the infrastructure as it pertains to phones and internet.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
as we understand it.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you,
Want to be
Dane.
clear.
All right. Thank you, Chris. We certainly look forward to the partnership. We're very excited. Any other discussion? All right. Okay. Well, then let's move on to agenda item number 7. February BOCC Employee of the Month and the 2025 BOCC Employee of the Year. Miss Laura.
Good morning, thank you. So we submitted the application for the February Employee of the Month and a list for the nominees for the 2025 nominations for the Employee of the Year. And I just wanted to know your decision.
All right.
Approve option A for Employee of the Month.
And second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and any discussion on Employee of the Year?
Of course, if I'm being a homer, I'm going for Kyle. Good questions. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, just looking at this list, District 2 does have an employee that is still employed here on this list. And of course, we're partial to ours as well. I will say that, at least in our office, we tend to try to recognize employees that certainly excel but might not actually be in a higher level of management type of position. Even though we did go against that this year, there was a particular circumstances in which we felt like we wanted to make an exception to that. But I will note that that's going to be the key reason why we won't pursue our employee for Employee of the Year.
I am going to make the recommendation due to circumstances that we're all aware of and how he stepped up this year. I'm going to make a recommendation for Brad Hermes.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
I want to make the recommendation for, I kind of got two, Greg and John.
Okay, and Laura, just for clarification, generally how many employees of the year do we vote on?
One.
One. Okay. Okay. So it seems like we have 3 nominations on the table. Okay, of those 3 nominations, I will go ahead and make a motion for John Comstock to be our Employee of the Year.
And second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to note, every employee on this list is fantastic. Obviously, they went above and beyond to even be recognized. So, you know, it would be nice if we could give this to all of them. Okay, agenda item number 8, cremation and burial. Jessica.
Okay, I added this item regarding cremation and burial services because we are currently using ARPA dollars to pay for services through December 31st of 2026. And I know that we recently got information in regards to if we can continue to provide such services. And so I just wanted to take this time as we're preparing for estimate of needs for FY27 to get feedback from this committee in regards to what that looks like moving forward. Mm-hmm. And Dane's here as well, since it's currently resides in his department.
Well, thank you for taking the opportunity to get a DA's opinion on those services that we provide. Obviously, she did respond, and I think we are all aware that the county has a statutory and a duty to fund cremation and burials. And so, yes, we're aware that Christine in Dane's office has been leading that effort. It is my personal opinion, and Dane certainly, you know, offer your comments since you're the one more or less facilitating this. You know, I don't want to upset the apple cart as far as the processes go. You know, if it's working well and you are amenable and okay. Any discussion related to cremation and burial?
Well, other than did you get to look at Jessica's recommendation on the funding for that? Mm-hmm. And everybody's thoughts on that?
And so we'll put that in Dane's estimate of need for MIS. So we know that on an average monthly cost, it's around $5,283.75. So that is annually $63,405. Of course, we will only have to fund it for 6 months for this next FY, since we still have the funding through December 31st. Christine is currently getting paid a stipend, and so Dane and I will discuss what that looks like, you know, moving forward in regards to her continued responsibilities. And so we'll include that in that estimate of need to be discussed at BET.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Do we need to take any action on this item?
No, just looking for clarification.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you, and thank you, Dane, for your assistance on that. Okay, agenda item number 9, GPS monitoring.
Okay, same as cremation and burials. This is a service that we used to provide during when we had court services department. Last year, when in BET, we had decided that there were remaining funds that had rolled over in the amount of $50,214.60 for possible GPS monitoring if we were to continue to provide it. But whenever we had the statutes change for social services, we weren't didn't have real clear direction on whether we can continue to provide indigent GPS monitoring. So I did ask for a DA opinion in regards to what that looks like. And so what I'm asking for today is this something that we want to go ahead and begin immediately? I have not paid for court-ordered GPS monitoring, and it looks like from the DA opinion that it does not necessarily have to be tied to indigent. We do have the $50,000 that carried over from FY25 that we could use roughly. Should we want to begin that immediately, or we could have further discussions about it as we discuss estimated needs moving forward in BET. I just wanted to get clarification since those funds are available for that purpose. I would need to move them over to the 3010 fund so that way I could actually be able to pay for Allied Universal invoices that came in specifically for that. I did reach out to Kathy Taylor, who Miranda and Kelly Thomas before me had worked with. And so what she did is she would just indicate which were court-ordered GPS monitoring to be paid versus the GPS monitoring that she currently bills for in her pretrial services contract. So she would delineate which ones, and then I would just pay accordingly.
Okay. Discussion?
I think since the statutory obligation is different here than it is for burials and cremations, I would like more discussion on this one.
Specifically relating to the funding or?
Correct.
Okay.
I personally would like a little bit more clarification from our district attorney in regards to what that would look like and who I would receive direction from and the number that she anticipates that we serve annually, since it hasn't been an issue as of yet.
Okay.
In regards to paying that. And so I have reached out to her, and I also talked to Chris Steele at Team because we are providing pretrial services, which is outlined in here, a program, actually 3, one with Team, the DA, and Detention Center. And so this may be funds, since that's what we're currently paying for in that contract, that we could use to offset the difference in next year FY contract. And so that was something that I was hoping to get a little bit of clarification before today, but I haven't had a chance to talk with her to see if that is something different, a different need versus what we currently are funding in regards to our pretrial program.
Okay.
And so we could always defer till next month. I don't know if there's a rush, but just wanted a little bit more clarification.
Sure. So perhaps
Unless there's
a deeper
anybody else
discussion
that knows
is
more.
needed, and obviously a need to gather more information. So perhaps we can just defer this to our next regularly scheduled policy and governance. And you say there is no rush. So
I mean, no one's calling me currently asking me to pay for any, and the district attorney did reach out to see if we were still providing it. And so that was what kind of prompted the discussion. And then with the changes with social services and court services, and then already having pretrial programs, the main thing was that we just received the final DA opinion yesterday, and I wanted to make sure that it was on the agenda today so we could have further discussion.
Well, thank you for getting that DA opinion. Do we have a motion to defer then?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Do we have any citizens participation? Okay. Board comments, District 1? District 3?
Nothing for me, thank
All
you.
right. Any new business? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.